You got Steve Westman here, live Audiophile Roundtable. Top picks, records of the summer 2025, news and rants. I've got Shane Buettner, Intervention Records boss. Josh Norrid. I was going to call you George. I don't know why. Josh Norrid, highfidelityrecords.com. Michael T., otherwise known as in other circles, Michael the Greek. I'm Steve Westman. Like I said, welcome. Guys, welcome. We are the Pacific Northwest Mafia right now because Josh, who is actually from Oklahoma, is visiting up in Seattle. So we're all on the Pacific side, the right time zone, the real time zone, the only time zone to be in. Welcome. How's it going, guys?
Thanks for having me, Steve. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're a friend of the show. Love having you on. And I think we should almost do a switch and bait. And we talked about this, Shane, this morning. I said, you know what? Let's just not talk about records today. Let's just go, because you and I, we love movies, right? We can talk about Apocalypse Now and do a full hour on that movie, right? Like, you know, we can do quotes like, I watched the snail crawl along the edge of a straight razor. That's my dream. That's my nightmare. Do you remember that part? Marlon Brando. Oh my God.
It's funny you say that because my addiction to physical media is not limited to records.
DVDs?
4K Blu-ray.
Yeah.
There's this amazing like sort of cottage industry streaming up around, like popping up around that, because people will buy it, and they're doing these amazing special editions with books, chock full of books and essays. I just want to give you, like, this week I watched a great movie from the 90s called Dark City. Brilliant movie. Absolutely brilliant.
So we're not going to talk about Apocalypse Now. We're going to talk records, though. I promise.
Fair enough.
Okay.
We're going to talk records. Okay.
So lots of news going on. I mean, Shane, I will say I did get the Joe Jackson, and I talked about it on my show the other day, and I called it Night and what did I call it? Night and Dry? Or what did I call it? I called it Night and Dry or something.
I love Michael because I don't have to bring my own props.
There you go.
And this is pressed at Gotta Groove, right, Shane?
That's right. Yeah, it's the first pressing. It's kind of come back. This was IR003.
See, I can't live it down already, Shane. They're already bugging me. I called it Night and Dry. I do love that. I know. Well, we were talking about this. You have all these comments going. I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm doing a million things at once. And anyways, it's okay. I love the record. The only song I don't like is the Cancer song because it's too literal. Honestly.
You know, I felt differently about that.
Really?
When I was in my teens and 20s than I do today, because I'm in my 50s now, and I know too many people that have been affected, including my mother.
I see. Yeah.
So, Shane, one thing I like that you're doing, one thing I like that he's doing, Steve, is that instead of having shrink wrap the hype stickers on the actual outer sleeve, I can actually pull it out.
So if you're a hype sticker nerd, you don't have to try to peel it off afterwards.
And let me go even farther than that. Those are 3 ml poly sleeves, which traditionally collectors do 3 or 5 for like the really treasured ones. 5 are really thick to like protect something that's really treasured. I pay 35 cents a unit extra for that. And I will say people have been very receptive. I do still get people emailing me and say, because it's exactly why I did it, was because the perf bags are not suitable for permanent keeping of records, in my opinion. And like Gotta Groove had a great option for 35 cents. I said, for 35 cents, I want the collector's sleeve. And I love it, but I do still get emails from people asking why they got an opened record and a used one when they bought and paid for a new one. And I will say this, I've never had anybody want to return or anything once I explained that I did it on purpose. And hey, you get to keep the hype sticker on there, and you've got a beautiful sleeve that'll last you for decades. They seem to be very receptive.
You know who else did that is Rhino Reserve. They actually they put a seal on theirs. I got this baby Huey, and it had that kind of sleeve too.
There's something to be said for that. The thing that I don't like, the reason I would say no to that, is
I don't like to have to cut it. Yeah, exactly.
And how one of the things I despise so much, different things, different kind of stickers. You go to pull the record out, the sticker grabs the jacket and pulls some of the paper off. I've had that happen before, and I literally scream inside every time it happens.
So there's a little bit of news going on all the different Facebook pages, Rhino Hi-Fi and all the record collector places on Facebook. Check this out. This is a picture today up in Hollywood. I don't know if this is Hollywood Boulevard, but look at this. Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham Nicks showing September 19th with the album cover of their debut album, 1973. So could it be happening?
Is that for a tour?
We don't know. Or do we know? I don't know.
Okay, September 9th, something is happening. It's got something.
September 19th.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's like in some ways, like, Rhino High Fidelity, they use Kevin, who's, my go-to mastering guy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that they use Stoughton for jackets, because those jackets do behave a touch differently, even though they're gorgeous. There you go.
I'll open it up in a second.
Yeah. But it's funny, some of these things I look at and I'm like, okay, this is like the series of all the stuff that I asked for over the years and could never get.
Well, that's what they were saying, right? I mean, they're like, okay, we're seeing all the success of these third-party audiophile companies. Let's start doing it ourselves as well. Getting all the ideas from people like yourself and Mobile Fidelity and Chad from Analog Productions, right?
Yeah, look, and that's true. I mean, I didn't invent the wheel. I sure as hell didn't invent Kevin Gray or, RTI or Gotta Groove or any places. There was a guy, and he's got a label now too. His name's Tom Beery. But, when speaking of Fleetwood Mac, Kevin did Rumors at 45 RPMs, like, I don't know, like 15 years ago or something like that. Because when Grover, his nickname Grover Beery, he was there. He was sending the stuff he was sending tapes to Kevin saying, cut it from tape. Don't use, files, stuff like that. So that's always been true, to some extent. And the thing that I like about the Rhino High Fidelity series, even though, I'm jealous, I'm happy I get to buy it because, I'm one of their biggest customers, man. And Kevin is killing it with the series. I just get really pleased, like when somebody's going to just do it well, the fans get what they deserve, and the product is really respected the way that they are respecting it, the way that Analog Productions is and stuff like that. And here's what I love, man, because it's them and they get to do it themselves. These are single 33s for $40. They're a steal. I think one of the things, that is difficult right now, there's a lot of great records that are, $60, $120, $150 a piece. And, one of the things with, like my Night and Day, I really struggled to maintain the $40 price point. And I did it by going to 150 gram vinyl. The original pressings, the jackets had film lamination on them, which I think adds an extra layer of gloss and protection and things like that. But I had to look and say, man, I don't, it sounds funny, but like, I really don't think people want to spend $45 for this record. They've been used to getting it for $40. Can I deliver the same quality that people are used to? Because let's face it, if I'm not delivering quality every time out in every aspect, I don't deserve to be here. And so I had to, I have to continually keep earning the business that I get, and I'm so thankful for. And I think I did a pretty shrewd job of, cutting some corners and not losing anything. I mean, I 150 gram is so close to 180. I mean, I wouldn't want to make a living trying to brown bag it.
We talked about that before, right? I mean, it's really not that much of a difference between the two. And I always think that the 180 gram is sort of a marketing thing in a way. You see these labels, 180 gram audiophile pressing. I mean, really? Does it have to be that to be an audiophile pressing?
So first of all, audiophile pressing can mean anything. That at least 180 gram is a number, and it refers to a weight and all of that. I would say, I would never say it's totally hype, and I'd say it for this reason. Generally speaking, the pressing plants that are out there, 180 gram black is their premium product. They ride or die on, this is our premium formulation. Thank you, by the way. This is our premium formulation. It's what we're the most familiar with. We can kill it and give you dead quiet flat pressings all the time. It might be the presses they use the most, they're the most used to. So it's not hype in terms of being a quality product from any pressing plant that does it. I will say that Matt at Gotta Groove, there's 2 different times he's come to me. He said, I can give you 150 gram black records that are absolutely as good as your 180 gram records. And I will say, and even in dealing with the artists, to them, 180 says to them that you care about their records and that you're going to give something really high quality and put it out. And sometimes when I broach, I really think that we could keep a price point and do 150. There's a little bit of this. They like that. Now, the other thing that that Matt at Gotta Groove told me was, he said, I could do transparent vinyl that's as good as your black vinyl. I didn't believe him. I made it prove it to me, but he proved it to me. So 180 gram, I don't think there's any way to say that at the premium pressing plants that it is not a premium product. It's going to be dead quiet. I think the bigger, so in other words, I don't think it's hype in terms of, hey, they aren't good records. They aren't quiet records. They aren't on center. There aren't problems with them. There's nothing weird about the profile. They're very used to it. But the more interesting question is, do you lose anything going from 180, say, to 150? And I'm, the only thing that I've heard, and I'd be so interested because, I'm not, the most technical guy out there, but I have heard people say that they're a little, because the heavier weight and mass would make them a little less prone to resonance on the platter. My suspicion is that if you can manage that interface and get a tight coupling of the grooves to the platter, that I bet it goes to nil. But I can't tell you that I know. I can just tell you that when I went back and forth between my 150 and 180, because I had my test pressings for Night and Day were 180. Believe it or not, I had the test pressings done like 2 years ago. That's how long it's taken to get this damn record out, for a variety of reasons. But when I got back, because I'm that kind of guy, I had to play them both. I was chasing my tail, trying to convince myself. And if I did hear anything, how would I know that it's not slightly different? SRA and tracking force changes when that changes. So I don't know that there's anything there that wouldn't be swamped out if you were able to magically do apples to apples. And I know that I couldn't hear it enough to keep chasing it.
Let me get Josh in here. He's no errand boy, Shane, sent by grocery clerks to collect a bill. I'll tell you that. This is Josh from High Fidelity Records. I told you, I want to talk Apocalypse Now, but we have to talk records. I think everyone would just stop watching us if we did that, but it'd be a fun show. Josh, welcome all the way from Oklahoma to Seattle. First time on the show with Shane, so welcome to that. Welcome. You came up to Seattle. You bought a collection.
Yeah. So I came up here, I haven't been up here since I was 12. I was actually I went to the Mariners game yesterday, and I was telling the people, I was like, I haven't been to a Mariners game since they were in the Kingdom. So, they were like, wow, you really dated yourself.
You got to see that. You got to watch the big dumper.
Got to see the dumper. He didn't dump one for me, unfortunately, but, hey, Mariners won the series with the Astros, and you can't complain about that. So yeah, man, I was excited to come up and visit. It's such a beautiful part of the country, and the weather is obviously much milder than it is in Oklahoma. And and I had a record collection up here, and just been developing relationships with people. That's kind of what this business is all about. You can't just start it up and say, hey, I know what I'm talking about, and work with me, because there's a lot of people that do it, so you have to be able to make relationships with people, and and they have to trust that you're going to find the right people that are going to want to buy their collections, and that you're going to do it in a timely fashion, and so on and so forth. Whether they sell it or do consignment, it's just all about trust, because anybody can sell on Discogs. You know what I mean? But that's kind of the thing about it. But yeah, man, I'm blessed to be up here.
Thank you. Welcome to the Pacific Northwest, part of the.
I'm going to give Shane a fun fact about Josh. Shane, Danny Kaye had Josh consign his collection that he wanted to sell. So Josh went to Danny Kaye's place, and he picked up quite a bit of vinyl, and he consigned it on his website.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that last year.
How many pieces did Danny K consign to? What was the final number? What did you guys figure out it was?
I think it was something around like 700. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but there was some. There was a lot of there's some good test pressings in there, and there were some other nice rarities, like some lacquers, I believe, sold to now Michael the Greek.
I bought a Julie London lacquer from Josh that would belong to Danny K. Yeah.
So not a ton.
With Cry Me a River on it. That was originally Boxstar Records. It's a Bernie Grundman reference.
I love having friends. I don't even find out about these things until like the collection is gone. And I don't get to cherry pick it or anything. Danny has one of the most amazing. It's one of like when I was at his place. I was on. Speaking of Steve, I was on the only time, West Coast time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So Danny, goes to go to bed, and honestly, like his hi-fi is one of those that really speaks to me. There's something about what I'll just call our values in terms of sound, that we both relate to each other that way. Like, because a lot of us, let's face it, right? Like I go to a lot of systems. I love it. I respect it. And it's a nice place to visit, but I kind of wouldn't want to live there, if you know what I mean. Danny's is one of the ones that just really speaks to me. And the last time I was at his place, he'd go to bed and I got to just stay up and just pull records out. And I mean, it's a hell of a collection to pull records out of, because it's just one freaking gem you want to listen to after another.
So you pulled an all-nighter then, I bet.
I did not. I did not even play 10, 11 o'clock Pacific. Okay, that's late.
That's too late. That's too late for us when we're going to the East Coast, isn't it? It's like it's weird time travel, isn't it? Going from the West Coast to the East Coast time travel. Ooh, hate it.
It's only 3 hours, but it's hard on me.
It's hard. Yeah, absolutely. So, like we were saying at the top, big news, probably Buckingham Nicks. Who knows where it's going to come out, but September 16th is a big announcement. So.
And the date on the billboard is September 19th, I believe.
Oh, did they say 19th? Just like I said, Joe Jackson, Night and Dry. I mean,
let me double check it just to confirm. We don't want to be.
I can put it up again.
Yep, September 19th.
There it is. 19. There you go.
Nice.
Yes. And by the way, I saw a comment fly by wanting to talk about inner sleeves. And I wanted to say that it's something I noticed recently. So one of the things I loved about switching to Gotta Groove is they use rice paper sleeves, which are my favorites.
Yeah.
So all my records come in rice paper sleeves. All the stuff I have at Gotta Groove. RTI recently started offering rice paper. I back one of the records. I hope ones are going to pull out.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Surge. It's not like the Tone Poet series, like needs any help from me, but I love Joe's work. I love what he does. It's a Capitol record, not a Blue Note. And it came in an RTI branded rice paper sleeve. And seriously, Blue Surge is just a bomber record.
Who issued that, Shane? Who is that?
Pardon me?
Who issued that record?
It's a Tone Poet. So the Tone Poet.
Capitol Records on Tone Poet? I didn't know that.
Dude, exactly. See that?
When did they start working with Capitol? That's new.
Well, they're all part of one big happy family. They're in the Universal family.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that's going to be a regular thing. But he definitely did a Capitol title. And I can't remember if I just saw another one announced recently, but it's a great record. And of course, it just sounds amazing.
Shane, any thoughts? Chris Isaak titles Wicked Game. Can we do it? I know. Out. Whoa.
Oh. Okay. For real, I have never, ever worked harder on getting the catalog of any other artist as I have Chris. I love his music.
Love it.
I tried to skin this cat so many different ways from so many different directions. Tried to go through his management. Tried to go through. Oh my gosh, there's a really big publishing company now that like owns his stuff. Primary Wave, wonderful people over there. I mean, listen. So just so you guys, here's a little inside poop, right? Like when I go to pitch Chris, it's okay. Like I grew up in the Bay Area. I saw Chris at Slim's which is the club that Boz Skaggs owns. So many times, Chris would, like come out into the audience, he just such a great performer. I've always loved his records. So like when I show up to the Zoom to make my pitch for why I'm the guy for Chris Isaak, I show up with all my original Chris Isaak records because like I've got all of them. And they're great. And all I could say is I will probably, I mean, at one point it got brought to my attention that the great rock photographer that did, oh God, I'm going to draw a blank on his name. He's like one of the most well-known guys. There was a crossover because I met him backstage at the Peter Frampton show a couple years ago when I was doing Peter's catalog. Because he'd taken one of the, his first name is Michael, and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his last name. I feel terrible about that. He's like Chris's godfather or something like that. It was like, I was literally going to anybody and everybody. I made a hell of a run at it. And the thing is, I'd love people to crowdsource me at this. I was told it was being done and that they decided to go a different way. And I believe they're going to roll their own. But I haven't seen it come out. I saw some limited release colored vinyl or something. I just can't think. Yeah, San Francisco Days. He was mentioning that.
And you know what? A couple of them were issued on Sun Records, which kind of blew. I'm like, what the hell is Sun Records
That's
doing?
his new label. So Sun's his new label.
Is it?
Is it Michael? Is it Michael Jones, a photographer? Is that the last name?
No. God, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on this. And I feel terrible about it because that's not going to help me getting in there with him or Chris Isaak at this point. He's Peter Frampton's main guy. He's taken the most iconic photos of Frampton.
One of my favorite Chris Isaak albums has never been issued on vinyl. It's called the Baja Sessions.
Oh, Baja Sessions is great.
He does Only the Lonely, I believe, on there. Yeah,
I love his Christmas album. Believe it or not, his Christmas album. He wrote an original that's just tremendous. And maybe a bunch. But no, Chris is really just so high on the list of people that if I could do their catalog, I would do it. And I've tried so hard. And it's even funny because even a couple of months ago, I emailed back the whole group of people and I said, I haven't seen anything happen. I'm still here. I'd still love to help. I offered, I was like, I would either work as a reissue producer. There'd have to be do me a hired gun, just hire me to produce the reissues, because I just want to make sure that they do them right. Or, look, I made myself, I've done this many times when I talk to artists. I love the catalog, the ins and outs of this, of making a reissue. Anyone can do, making a great one. I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I've been doing it for about 10 years and I'd help for free. I made that offer to those folks too, because I would have literally helped them out for free, just with advice, pressing plants, mastering guys. So
you're not giving up on the Chris Isaak dream. You're going to be tenacious enough to keep going until we get something. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm going to try, man. Absolutely.
On your knees, begging.
I'd buy all of them. I'd buy all of them.
No, it wasn't Richard Aaron. His name's, I don't know why I'm drawing such a.
It happens when you're alive. He was a photographer for Frampton, though. You said not.
He's also the photographer for he's like the San Francisco 49ers photographer. He took the most iconic picture of the catch. And his first name is, I feel like it's I hope I'm right. Anyway, I'm just totally blowing it here. Nobody's going to bail me out either, because it's definitely not the name that I saw float by. He's the one, and it's terrible because I thanked him on, if I had my Frampton box that's sitting by me, I'd actually pull it out and look at it. Everybody's like, we're all going to go dead quiet because we're going to look up this guy's name.
Exactly.
Who is it? Who is Walter? No, the catch, the game-winning touchdown was taken by Walter. Was first name Walter? No. Okay, so
maybe I was wrong about the catch, but I thought he was a.
John Story. It doesn't matter. I just want to see his work now. It's like, oh man.
Richard Aaron took the photo of Comes Alive.
Oh, what did Jeremy say? Just
Michael Zagaris.
Yes,
there it is. Thank you, Jeremy. Yes. Woo.
I am so sorry. I just don't know why I drew a blank on that name.
I was getting stressed out for you, Shane.
But yeah, anyway, hopefully I wasn't talking about out of school about them being close. But no, so funny that somebody mentioned Chris Isaak. That's just a heartbreaker at this point, which is kind of fitting, right? Isaac. Chris sang about heartbreak a lot.
Get it done.
We need to start Steve. We should start a petition and have people sign it for Shane.
Do they actually work?
At this point, it would probably piss them off, right? Like
it would probably, yeah.
Hear from me, like, why won't that record quit stalking?
I don't know. I look at it from a consumer's point of view, right? Not the artist's point of view. It's like, okay, I'm the one paying the money. I mean, I appreciate your work. I appreciate your creativity. I get all that. I paid all the money. Like, let's. Why would you be upset about that? I want to buy your work.
You know,
does that make sense?
It makes sense to me.
Everyone that's watching will agree with it. Totally makes sense.
I've got to tell you, lots of how many times? I mean, essentially, like especially when I talk directly to artists and management, I'm trying to give them money. And I mean, I can't tell you it's a lot of money because, like, again, like the premium vinyl world, a few thousand copies of, this or that. This isn't going to change anyone's life. But you would think when you said, because like the whole pitch is always this, I'd like artist approval. I'd like to work with you. This costs you nothing. I pay all like I put the product out there. I sell it back to you like as cheap as I can because like I can't give them away because it costs too damn much. But the artists get the best possible. They get better than wholesale. So that they could resell them, sell them at shows. Like I said, I've got a great relationship with Art at Everclear doing that. Matthew Sweet has done that. I love working directly with the artists. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's shockingly difficult. And in cases where like there's nobody beating down a door. Like, hey, I love this. I think I could bring this out. I think we could do well. But like
it surprises me, right? It surprises me. It's like leaving money on the table. But I think like you were mentioning last time when you were on the show, I mean, anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 is sort of that number that as a third party reissuer is pretty much the number you're going to have to guarantee to the management label, I would assume, right?
Yeah, something like that. It's usually the 2,000 to 3,000 guarantee. But like I said, like I think at this point, like with the trajectory of the label was something that's solid. 3,000 to 5,000 is pretty reliable. And you kind of never know when you're just going to hit one that does a lot. Like the Church Starfish has just done a lot more. A big part of that is, well, it's interesting because the last few years the band's been out there. They put out a shockingly good album. The Church did an album called Hypnagogue that's kind of like, oh my God, it sounds like it's like, it doesn't sound, I don't mean it sounds nostalgic. I just mean like if this would have entered their canon like right after Starfish, it would have been like, oh wow. It would have been, it's the same band, it's the same, Kilby still sounds great. So that's definitely helped. But I had a huge role with that out of the gate several years ago before they were as active. I mean, that was just and I mean, let's face it, they did it. It's a classic record. It's a great record, and it's damn near, I mean, between the extra songs on it, it's damn near a double album full of terrific songs.
Well, I think if anyone can do it, I think Intervention Records having a Chris Isaak albums on your label, that would look amazing. Just sort of suits it, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get to Steamboat, Colorado, July 22nd, Shane, he'll be there at the Strings Music Festival. If you want to go up to the stage and see if you can talk to his manager, start stalking him on our behalf, us customers who want to buy this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I did think there are certain acts that I think really, because let's face it, right? Like, I don't have the money to throw around to get Steely Dan. Seeing some of the comments here, right? Like, I'm not going to, sadly, if I had it, I would, but I can't put $5 million on the table to do an all analog Zeppelin set, right? So it's like, I've really looked to kind of fill in the cracks of things that aren't getting the attention from the other, premium reissue labels, Joe Jackson, the stuff I've done from the 90s, Matthew Sweet. I can't answer for why nobody else jumped on Billy Squier, because that's just crazy. I was so lucky to get that.
Great album.
So again, like some acts are like kind of a more like, oh yeah, that fits like a glove. And yeah, I feel like Chris is one of them. Anything in that 80s to 90s wheelhouse, right? Because let's face it, how much attention is still getting paid to doing this 50s, 60s, and 70s over and over again?
Well, here's the thing, Shane, you were talking about this, and guys, you can tell me what you think as well. I mean, going back, a lot of people are asking about the Beatles mono box. I know some of you guys ordered it. Shane, you ordered it and got an email saying that it was going to come until September. Then you got another one saying you're getting it now. That's the thing. I mean, I think the Beatles are capitalizing on the demographic currently, the baby boomers who are getting older, and they know that there's more fans now, and there's going to be more fans dying than there will be new fans of the Beatles probably in the next 5 to 10 years. Just reality of the situation, just because the demographic, the amount of music choices out there, et cetera, et cetera. So I think as a Universal, this is smart for them to come out. They should have just pressed more of these things because there's a big market. I think they probably tested it. Now they know maybe they'll be quicker on the draw and get some more of these boxes out. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that, capitalize on it right now is good. I think these things do go in cycles. And I've had somebody remark to me recently, they said, hey, man, all these bands from the 60s and 70s and stuff, they're not going to mean anything to these next generations. Well, you know what? It was said to me when I got into the Beatles when I was like 10, was like, no one's going to like the Beatles. They're not any good. They're terrible. Well, what happens? The Beatles have come back around, and how they keep themselves relevant in pop culture is keeping themselves in advertisements, keeping themselves in ads. I mean, we've got an Airbnb ad that has Magical Mystery Tours, the bed. The kids, the bands like the A-List, the Beatles, Zeppelin,
you're right.
Floyd,
Yeah.
They're never going to go out. They're never going to go out. They're going to
even in the trailer for the Minecraft movie. Magical Mystery Tour was the beginning song in the trailer. I think it was probably in the movie as well, but that was the song that they used. I mean, wow. So they are going to a different demographic. But I'm just trying to say, because the baby boomer generation is obviously a large part of the population, right? It's harder to replace that as quick, is what I was trying to say. So this is the time, if you're going to sell a lot of Beatles stuff, would be the time.
Well, then of course, I might have mentioned this before, but demographically, I believe it's still true that the boomers spend more money than all of the other generations combined.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And the younger people too, guys, I mean, don't have these tape players like Michael has behind you or what I have behind me. You know what I mean? They don't have the same equipment because they don't have the money. The jobs aren't there either. So it will come in time. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of these older bands, I think like Led Zeppelin, we always say, oh, Led Zeppelin needs to get an audiophile box. I think they need that because they are missing out on a huge amount of money if they care about money, which I think everyone does to an extent. I know they have a lot, but I think it would be smart from a marketing perspective.
There's still people who want all analog pressings of Zeppelin that didn't get the classics when they're available.
Yeah.
Getting really clean, amazing originals can be done. It's prohibitively expensive.
Yep.
That's another reason for reissues to exist, right? Like, to give an example, one of the things that I popped up, Willie Nelson, Faces and Stages.
It's a good album.
Tremendous album. Ryan Smith, my friend, cut that at Sterling at his new place. It's colored vinyl, which wouldn't have been like my first choice. But it's a great album that's really hard to find on the used market in a clean copy. So that's a service, right? But how much bigger is vinyl today than it was in 2014? So there are lots of people that wanted that Beatles mono set that didn't get it.
Well, I say that I've said this so many times, Shane. I mean, I bought the one right here at Costco in Kelowna, BC for 300 whatever it was Canadian dollars, and there was loads of them in the middle aisle in the cart, in the big metal, whatever it is, And I went back and said, they're still there. They're still there. They're still there. They were there a long time. And talking to some people from Universal, they were worried that they weren't going to sell those. It took a long time, longer than they expected back in 2014. And we had the resurgence from 2014 through COVID until today. There's a big demand for them again. More people are buying equipment. There's more people watching shows like this, getting more educated. That's what you're seeing as well.
Yeah,
and it's great sounding stuff. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that mono set is really my go-to. I mean, here's the thing that I think would be interesting. When are we going to see a stereo all analog set?
We have these debates on the show. That's the thing. I mean, we don't know if the tapes are good or what's going on with an all stereo analog. I don't know.
I will say that set turned my go-tos on many of those albums into the mono versions. And I guess the only other things that I'd say is that I think people are being choosy, and I see people, when I put out the Frampton box set, people accused me of price gouging. It was $160 retail when it first came out. I don't think people know how expensive it is to put something together like that. And then the second thing I would say, like in the Beatles case, even the bumps and bruises aside with the shipping and the other things, I don't look at that with any degree of cynicism whatsoever. I think it's a service for that set to be available again, and for people who couldn't get it to not have to pay secondary market prices and not know what they're getting. So I was excited that it came out because I think it serves the musical community.
I'm always wrong in this show, as everyone knows, but I think that they're probably going to allow Giles Martin to do his remixes first before we see any inkling of a stereo AAA set. Is my guess, anyways. But again, I'm always wrong, so maybe that's the opposite will happen.
Look, he kind of already has, right? When they do one of the big, boxes for Sgt. Pepper, Revolver, Giles gets a record in there.
So we'll see. That would be a nice dream, that's for sure. Someone asked about what the best-selling intervention record has been to date. Can you tell us which one?
Of all time, right?
Of all time. I got to find that one. Sorry.
It's either...
There's Glenn.
It's either The Church...
Yeah.
Or Gilded Palace of Sin, which I'm very sorry to say, I was very shocked. Universal, my license on that didn't get renewed, so I've got less than. There's not very many left of the current pressing, and I've had it in print since 2018, and I was shocked because they said they're going to do their own. Now they already did their own a few years ago, and they're non-exclusive licenses. So I was very surprised and saddened.
For those who don't know, who's the artist, Shane, on Gilded Palace of Sin?
The Flying Burrito Brothers.
Flying Burrito Brothers.
Yeah, so I did the two albums, two studio albums I did with Graham. Gilded Palace of Sin and Burrito Deluxe, which is Burrito Deluxe is vastly underrated, but I do understand. I mean, Gilded Palace is a lot of people credit it as being, there was some stuff that came before, but it was they say that like what the Flying Burrito Brothers invented, the Eagles perfected in terms of country rock.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that album, to be frank, had never sounded good. And Kevin, that was one of the hat tricks, like, oh my God, what just happened? How did that happen? And the answer, I don't know if I've ever told this before. It's a great sounding album. It never sounded right. It had always had some bite. They put a ton of bass on that record, like a crazy amount of bass, especially in the first couple of tracks. And the bottom line is we stopped trying to fix the bass. Kevin just said, let's stop trying to wrestle with this. Let's just let it go and let's work on the. And all of a sudden, the whole thing, and people will tell you this if they've ever heard another pressing. All of a sudden, the whole musical picture came together. And yes, the bass is wild and woolly. It's not clean, tuneful audiophile bass in all instances. But it's what the band put on tape.
Yep.
And we just magically, like, we just fell, again, nothing that Kevin does, you don't develop those instincts over like.
Well, I was going to say that, Shane. I mean, everyone will agree. Kevin Gray, he likes to leave a lot on what he's hearing from those tapes as well. He's, I've talked to him a lot. You know him for years as well. He goes back and doesn't do a lot of adjusting at times. He really doesn't. I mean, it's his electronics and the machinery that are really, really doing a lot of that as well.
He's got the sense to know when he can't make it better.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't feel the need to make a change just to put his initials on.
And I love that. And I think that's why there's been so much success from the Rhino Hi-Fi series that you were mentioned before at the top, Shane. I mean, just the consistency of his mastering. I think that's one of the reasons why you at Intervention Records uses Kevin. You know what you're going to get. It's like I always give the example. There's a restaurant here in BC called Earl's or across Canada. I like that restaurant because I always know the consistency. I always know what I'm going to get when I go to that restaurant. That's like Kevin Gray to me. I know what I'm going to get out of him as a mastering engineer for any record that he cuts.
I could say this. Our philosophies are very much aligned. I always talk about that jumping off point for a reissue label. Are you going to chase some kind of some pressing you think is a magic pressing and go after that sound? Or are you going to go after what is on the tape and try to honor that? And I don't, I think, Kevin is probably like a lot of these guys. If somebody asked him to do something differently, he would probably do it. But I can just say he's very comfortable with my approach. And it's one of the reasons that we work so well together and have a lot of shorthand. The other thing that I will say that's very interesting about how, really I've been in 3 mastering suites. They're all incredible, for vastly different reasons. Kevin's is the one that most easily translates to my ears. When I listen to it at Kevin's, I know exactly what the Tessic pressings are going to sound like when I get them back to my place without trying to do any sort of, of my own translation of, okay, I'm pretty sure this is what I think we're aiming at. But look, I love, I haven't worked with Ryan in his new system in Nashville, but I worked with him in New York. I got some of my most amazing sounding records work with Ryan, and the work I did that Chris Bellman did on Frampton for me is just ungodly. I'd work with any of those guys any of the time. But just Kevin's the guy I've known the longest. We're so comfortable together. Whenever I can, that's always my go-to place.
We bring more. We promise the viewers picks, everyone. Summer picks.
I showed up with picks.
Who else has picks? I showed up with picks. I got a summer pick that was dropped off on my porch just before we started the show. I showed that at the beginning.
Michael's always got picks.
Michael.
I don't know. I mean, what I've been
want
buying...
some summer picks. It's the summer. We're in the dog. Are we in the? Is it the dog days of summer? Is that what this would be? Midsummer, almost. I don't know.
All right, well, look, if you got to look, I'll tell you about something that I think snuck by a lot of people. It didn't sneak by me.
What is it? Tell us.
Whoops.
Dwight
Warner, Hopper.
Okay, so what are we looking at? Dwight Yoakam.
Oh, yeah.
The 80s Dwight Yoakam stuff. Dwight Yoakam was a monster. That was another catalog I actually asked for and wanted to do.
He was on Warner, right? Warner Brothers?
Warner did it. Yeah. I believe they're cut from tape. Chris Bellman mastered them. Whatever they cut from, they sound tremendous. I think they're about $25 a piece.
Wow.
I got a box set of 4 or 5 of them for like $90.
What year was that?
I got this last year. I think it came out toward the end of last year. I think you could still find that on the Rhino site. Huge art. I don't know why. I don't know how. Like, I didn't see the reviews of it. I didn't see anybody do anything. I thought they came out great. They're at a terrific price, and I was super happy to get those. And I wanted to pick something that's a little outside of the lanes, right? Like, who knew that Dwight Yoakam came out? And if there are fans out there, country doesn't get as much love as it deserves in general in the reissue market.
One that I picked up a couple of weeks ago, and actually I found this. I was surprised. I found this used. This AP45 Genesis.
You didn't buy that brand new.
No, I found it used for about $30 at a local record store. Somebody traded it in, and it's
30.
like, man, the sound just blows me away. Home by the Sea, parts 1 and 2. It's like, holy crap! It just punches you in the face. Massive bass, really clean.
You know what? And that's a great song and a great sound.
Yeah, it is. And part 1 goes into part 2. It's the entire side at 45 RPM. Yeah, that blew me away. I was late on this, and I told Steve about it. I just picked up Candio. It came out about 9 months ago. This also is an amazing sounding record. The drums on this just come at you so loud and punchy. Really well recorded. Candio. I also picked up, I haven't opened them up yet, but I picked up the Grateful Dead American Beauty. I picked up the Ramones record. They had a sale on the 4th of July at Rhino High Fidelity, so I picked up a bunch of stuff.
So you guys, this Dwight Yoakam, if you get the box set, it's called The Beginning and Then Some, the albums of the 80s. It's on black vinyl for $90. And then the 3 of them are out as individual LPs on transparent colored vinyl for $25 a piece. And all I'm saying is, if you dig Dwight Yoakam, those records just kill.
I like it.
Josh, did you bring? Josh, this is all packed, or did you bring something? I'm curious. What you brought?
I can show some pictures of some. Okay, so so I went to Georgetown Records there.
Michael,
I've been at Georgetown Records.
Yeah, they had some really great stuff. You know, I mean, they had, of all the record stores I've been to so far in the area, I think they've had like the best, like, quote unquote grail type stuff that was actually pretty clean. I'll hold it up. I don't even know if you can see it.
Metallica.
Yeah, that's that. I want it. I might go back and get it. That's fine. If anybody else is in the area and wants to go grab it, Georgetown, it's a great shop. But yeah, still in the shrink. It's the Mega Force.
The original pressing on Megaforce.
And then
I have that.
They also had some super clean Australian AC/DC.
Shane has those, right? I have that one too.
Yeah,
I have high voltage Australian.
You got someone, Josh. Jason's heading to Easy Street and Silver Platter tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna go hit those places up tomorrow and see if they can knock Georgetown off the pedestal. It was my favorite record store so far of the area. So those are my picks. But I gotta say also, if you were sleeping or you didn't want to pick up that Cars Rhino High Fidelity when it was $300 on the secondary market, yeah, go get it now. It's out there. I saw it at pretty much everywhere I went to. That if you don't have like a clean original red Electra and you don't want to hunt one down, just go grab that. Like, like Shane was saying about Kevin, man, he knocked it out of the park with that, but with everything he does. So
when I was at Easy Street a few days ago, Josh, they had Television and the Stooges in store now from Rhino. Yeah, I saw Morrison Hotel, LA Woman, Cars, Television. So yeah, man, they're out there. I think those were
underrated as well. The Wilco AM album, such a good record.
Great record. I've got all their stuff. I've got originals of all their stuff. Michael and I did some comparisons on the Black Sabbath Rhino High Fidelities and the Alice Cooper. The other one that I speak really highly of, that's a shockingly great sounding record, is Devo Freedom of Choice.
Oh yeah, that is incredible sounding.
That is lights out. But the original Black Sabbath it's absolutely shocking. First of all, it's a simpler recording. So I think the recording quality, even though I would argue personally Paranoids, overall I probably prefer it as an album, although I love them both. But Michael and I did some comparisons with other reissues and whatever originals I had around. And
this smoked the original, didn't it? That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah. And that was a perfect example. I had a clean Warner Green Label, and Kevin smoked it. It was not close.
Alice Cooper, love it to death.
Hearing Ozzy's voice when he was that young, and his voice was it's uncanny being in the room with that voice, the way that you are on the Rhino self-titled Black Sabbath. It's just absolutely startling.
Yeah.
Kevin Gray again, of course. Consistency.
I'll tell you another one that snuck by, and I'm going to tell you what I love about this, and I'm going to tell you what I don't love about this. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. Isaac Hayes' amazing soul record, Hot Buttered Soul. Crafted a one-step, and I think it was $110.
Yeah.
I think this should have been like a great $40 single 33. They chose to do it this way. Don't get me wrong. Like, part of me is like, my God, this record delivers a full deluxe treatment and everything else. They did 3,000 of them, and like, I think they're still available. And I'm like, you do that record at $40 and you do it the way that I would do it, or Rhino High Fidelity does it, you'd have already sold 5,000 of them. Because it is such a phenomenal record. It's a phenomenal recording. So I don't love that it's cost prohibitive, which I think is happening too often these days. But I will say this, Michael's heard it over at my place. The sound absolutely slays. The vinyl's dead quiet. It's the best I've ever heard it sound. And it is a truly seminal, great soul album. It's not a good soul album or a very good soul album. It is a great, great soul. I'm a huge fan of Isaac Hayes. I always have been. I was fortunate enough in the early 90s to see him live in the Bay Area, and it was one of the thrills of my life. It was a small club. He still sounded great. This is before he was chef in South Park. Oh my God, did he just but this album is amazing, and this one slipped through the cracks a little bit, which trips me out about the reissue market. Like, sometimes truly great things go a little unnoticed, and this is one of them. I think it probably went unnoticed just because it was so expensive.
Until people watch these shows, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, sold out.
Oh yeah,
on,
I hope
price goes up.
I hope this sells it out for him, because it's just more people should hear this album the way it sounds in this pressing, because it's just astonishing. Oh God, this is funny. So many people have mentioned the stuff that I've asked for over the years.
Boss Gags.
Boss Gags. This is the Atlantic 75 Analog Productions. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just, I think it's Dwayne Allman's on this record as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, Dwayne.
I was never a big Skaggs fan, but bought it because I wanted to get into it. I was like, yeah, this is, I get this. This is some good stuff on here. And this, I think this is the way it should probably sound, is hearing it off this record. If you haven't got this one, for me as a Canadian, this was an expensive record. Anytime these come out, these are about $100 when it gets to my door, right? So I'm paying for these. So I want to be selective in what I get. And I was really impressed with the sound, overall dynamics of this record. Really well done. And again, I haven't gotten a bad Atlantic 75 through Analog Productions yet. Not one. I mean, really.
Credit to Chad on that series. He's done a great job. I really, one of the things that Chad and I, that I really appreciate with what Analog Productions does, aside from what they do with the sound, QRP's doing a great job, in my opinion, with the pressings. They do a really good job with the art. The art really, in my opinion, deserves as much attention. Like, to give an example, this Isaac Hayes, they're all of us, we work from scans more often than not. Like, there's no magic vault of album art most of the time, and you got to do really high quality, high res scans. There's some tricks you got to do to make sure that you don't get moire patterns and stuff like that. And like, sadly, this Isaac Hayes, I looked at it and I'm like, seriously, moire patterns on Isaac Hayes' beautiful bald head? You got to be kidding me. But so Chad, they pay attention to that. They do a great job.
I got an idea for you. So when you get your first Chris Isaak, we'll do a special Audiophile Roundtable first 500 special edition one.
We all have to manifest this. Yes.
Right? Let's do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think Intervention Records is the label for Chris Isaak. I really think that's the fit. And I'm not just saying that because Shane is on. It just makes a lot of sense. If you look at Shane and his passion and enthusiasm and what he's done and the artists that he has been working with and he has on his website, it just seems like that's the fit for you, Shane. And again,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. That's how I feel when you sort of look at Chris Isaak and his catalog and the songs that he has in his albums. That's Intervention Records to me.
I even have a picture in my head of what picture of Chris would be like on the the artist.
And we know
page.
how well of a job you would do. I think going back to what would sell the most, that would be your best selling.
So his catalog is now on Sun Records. You said Sun Records owns his catalog now.
No, so Sun Records is his most recent label, so I believe that he's on Sun at this time.
Okay.
My recollection, I don't know if I'm talking out of school.
We're putting it out there, Shane. We're putting it out there. We're getting it out there.
Who do we contact? Who do we contact, Shane, if we want to get this going?
Everyone that's watching, let's go. Contact who are we contacting? Intervention Records, reissue of Chris Isaak.
Well, here's the thing: we don't look. For all I know, that they came out and I missed it. But like, I've looked on various websites and Amazon. Nobody's ever come to me and said, "Oh man, like, look, they finally got the Chris Isaak records out." So,
he's going to be in Silver Springs, Colorado. Whoever's living there, go out. Slip them.
Somebody go up there and tell them to talk to the intervention guy, Shane at interventionrecords.com. That would be
they did one for a record store day about a year ago. I bought one that was on for a record store day. That was like the Sun Sessions or something.
All digital though, right? Those are those digital ones.
I believe, they are. Yeah. I believe they are.
Yeah, and Heart-Shaped World, and that was the thing at the time. I was very hopeful because it was an anniversary year for that last year, and as near as I could tell, it came and went, and nothing substantial happened. And again, even if somebody else did it and did it at a high level, I mean, that might be because let's say Heart-Shaped World is not another one, early '90s, not a lot of vinyl being done. That's not a plentiful record or an easy one to find. It's not terribly difficult, but it's also
not. Yeah, I mean, I bought the CD when it came out in 1989. Of course, still have it to this day, and it was one of those. I think it was like a number 7, number 6 in the Billboard in those years. I think by 1990, 1991. So it took some time, but it was the MTV video, right? Helena Christensen.
Wild at Heart. That
film. It was also the David Lynch film. Yeah.
Oh, was it really? Okay, yeah, that's right.
Heart, yeah.
I'm just thinking of the video. I'm just thinking of the Wicked Game video from the album Heart-Shaped World.
Doesn't the video have some clips from Wild at Heart?
I don't think so. It was Helena Christensen on the beach, right, with Chris Isaak.
It was a black and white video.
Black and white. It had huge. I mean that had huge play in MTV back in 1989 or 90. Sure. Huge. I mean that everyone knows that. Just I would say eerie sound. I think it was just just a crushing sound. I don't even know how to explain that. Just the first time you heard that song, you're like, oh, I could hear it again.
Oh yeah.
And again,
I like the albums he did before that.
Yeah.
Heart Full of Soul, Blue Hotel. I mean, just he was crushing it back then. And somebody mentioned San Francisco Days earlier. That I was living in San Francisco, and a girlfriend of mine got me that CD for my birthday. I've got very fond memories of all of those albums.
Well, the second album was I guess it was the Chris Isaak self-titled, and that had Heart Full of Soul on it as well. And I think that's when he really started to come into his own, into that sort of sophisticated R&B, right?
Silvertone's really good too. I mean, he always had kind of a quasi Elvis thing going on.
Yeah, totally did.
Oh yeah, but he was his own guy, and I think the world of Indian art.
I just want a huge relationship with her. That's exactly right. When I was 16 years old, and you're watching that, you're like, whoa, yeah, of course.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, that was quite the time.
So, Steve, I should mention that a couple of days ago, Shane was mentioning that I've hung out with him and I've listened to records. I met Josh for the first time on Saturday in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was in Seattle, and I invited him over to Audio Ultra. Our friend Ed, as Shane knows Ed too, from Audio Ultra, and we had a blast listening to records. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was.
Hang on a second. I'll do something here fun. Hold on, look, we're getting to the top of the hour. I want to see this here. Hold on. This will be fun. Check this out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Michael. And we got
Josh with High Fidelity Records.
And we got Josh's buddy, Jason. Jason's from here in Tacoma, but Josh is coming from the great state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm up here to check out a collection here in the greater Seattle area, and gonna have some of those available on my website, highfidelityrecords.com. And fortunate to go up here and check out this system with Ed and Mike and Jason, and man, we had a great time today. So
There you go.
yeah, man,
Unbelievable.
sounds great.
I didn't want to put the music on. You know, these copyright laws these days, the first 5 seconds you get copyright struck already. So I just wanted to stop it right away.
Yeah, we listened to some really top-notch gear, Josh. It was pretty incredible. And I know Shane's been there multiple times too at Audio Ultra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. You know, the other side of my life is hi-fi distribution. Ed's one of my one of my really good friends and one of my dealers for a couple of my brands. We work together a lot, and honestly, we do because it's usually the three of us, and we play records that we like, not just the audiophile chestnut, so to speak. So it's always like really like more than anything, we just have fun hanging out and playing music. I never lose sight of the fact that we're all so damn lucky that we get to play music for a living.
Yeah, and Shane, shameless plug, you are the distributor in North America for tone arms and turntables for SAT, right?
Right.
And for Lyra cartridges.
Lyra cartridges, EBI phono cartridges.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Seismian, active isolation at this point.
You're a busy guy then.
Yeah, there's Bobby Bradford, Freddie and Reddy. Bobby survived the fire.
There's Night and Dry.
Night and Dry.
Night and Dry, man.
Is that a Def Leppard album?
Must be. I changed the name.
By the way, we were also able to update the back of the of Night and Day, because in 2018 I started adding the little code there.
Oh, the all analog code.
Sparse
Well,
code.
you know what? The sourcing code.
Code.
It just basically tells you where it came from and how it was mastered, what the source was.
Yeah.
Was it an original master tape? Was it a safety copy? Was it?
Yeah, I can see that from a half-inch safety copy. Yeah. I can actually show that. You want to show that real quick?
Yeah.
Can you see that? Okay.
Hang on, I'll put it
From a half-inch.
Hold on.
It tells you the source. Half-inch safety copy of original master tapes.
That's right. The 8-inch
Transparency, I love.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Everybody should do that, Shane. Everybody should do that.
So we're top of the hour.
I agree. And by the way, it wasn't my idea. And somebody's asking me, I do still have my Brinkman. Bardo Ken. That's funny. He's another Brinkman guy. He's got Brinkman Bardo. Yes, I do still have a Brinkman turntable. I don't know yet how many SAT tables I have to sell before I can afford one. I hope to find out.
There you go. Well, we did it, guys.
Yeah, so that little sparse code thing, I'll be honest, I ripped it off from Neil Young. He started putting it on some of his reissues. And I thought, you know what? The hype stickers can get torn off and go away. I'm going to start putting it on the records. And Analog Productions is doing something very similar now. So I agree. I would love it if everybody did that. Although, true story, with Everclear Songs from an American Movie, I literally forgot. We kind of microwaved that project. It moved really fast. We got the sound we needed and everything else. But I totally missed that my little sparse code thing was missing from the jacket art. Now, that was a different one. We literally reconstructed the art. We got the original photos and everything and literally rebuilt it, not from scans, because we only had the CDs to work with. It had never been out on vinyl. So I am very happy to say that we crushed it with the sound. The album art is absolutely beautiful, but I did forget the damn code.
Don't forget it again.
Is that Everclear still available, Shane? The new one? It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. That's so the yellow was limited. The Coke Clear is unlimited. As long as people keep buying it, I'm going to keep pressing it. It's a great album too. It really is right up there with Sparkle and Fade and So Much for the Afterglow. Just tremendous records.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Great show. Thank you, Shane, Josh, Michael.
Lots of fun, guys. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks for
again.
having me, Josh. Good to meet you, and enjoy your trip here to the Northwest.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
If you end up in the South Sound and want to slum it over here, I don't have $2 million worth of equipment, but I got a pretty decent stereo.
So I guess big news. We've got possibility of a Buckingham Nicks announcement. Looks like September 19th. We'll see there. And bigger news, if you're a fan of this, Steve Hoffman's coming on the Audiophile Roundtable in a week or two.
Not
Wow.
the Hoff.
The Hoff is coming back.
Hoff
Coming
Meister.
back.
The return.
That is
Return.
really cool.
Return of the Hoff.
So he'll be back on. So, guys, I know we're all sleepless in Seattle. Time to get to bed. Thank you
Not
for
even I'm
everyone.
going to bed this early.
Well, everyone's watching the East Coast are like, oh my gosh, what time is it already?
Can't go to bed. It's not even dark out.
There you go. I know. It's beautiful outside and hot.
It's sunny outside.
Thank you, guys. It was awesome. Everyone that was watching, thank you. It was a real blast. Let's do it again.
Anytime. Anytime.
Let's do it.
Thank you. Except that one time. I said no.
No, Chris Isaak. We were going to get Chris Isaak on the show when he's
I love
when he
it.
signs
You
his
guys-
Intervention Records deal. He's coming on. That's part of the deal, Shane. We're plugging it right now. He has to come on because we're plugging it. That's the part of the contract.
If this doesn't,
We
you know, look,
demand it.
if he's not going to reissue with me, the least he could do is show up on your show.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he? Jeez.
Exactly.
Have a
Great.
wonderful evening, everyone. Thanks for
I appreciate
watching.
you guys so much.
Awesome.
All right.
Bye.
Good night, guys. Bye.
You bet. Take care.